What if I told you there is an organization where 32 countries promise to go to war for each other? None of them is actually in charge. If one small country in Europe is attacked tomorrow, soldiers from the US, Canada, Britain, and France could join the conflict. That organization exists. It is called NATO. Some call it the greatest peacekeeping invention. Others say it keeps global tensions alive. To understand NATO, we go back to 1945. Europe is a smoking ruin after World War II. Cities are flattened and economies shattered. A new fear is rising. The Soviet Union now controls large parts of Eastern Europe. Western Europe feels uneasy. The United States faces a choice: retreat home or stay and prevent another war. This time, they choose to stay involved. In 1949, 12 countries signed the North Atlantic Treaty. At the heart is Article 5. One sentence changed everything. An attack on one member is an attack on all. No hesitation, no maybe. Everyone must respond. The logic is simple. Make war too expensive to start. It's like telling a bully he must fight everyone.
Suddenly, the bully rethinks his choices. But NATO is not a country. It has no president. It has no single army or laws. So who runs it? The answer: all of them and none of them. NATO works by consensus. Every member must agree. 32 countries must agree on major decisions. It is slow, but built for unity. There is a Secretary General who coordinates. But they are not a supreme commander. Troops still belong to their own countries. NATO is a giant coordination machine. Think of a group project. Everyone brings tools, but no one dominates the whiteboard. Now let's talk power. NATO is not just a discussion club. Members represent over half of global military spending. The United States alone contributes a massive share. Add European militaries and nuclear capabilities. This becomes the most powerful alliance in history. NATO defends members. It does not conquer territory. Article 5 has been used only once. After the 9/11 attacks in 2001. NATO came to defend the United States. Europe backed America. The promise worked both ways.
But NATO has critics. Some say it is outdated after the Cold War. Others say expansion increased tensions. Supporters say expansion strengthened democracy. Critics say it provoked insecurity. Then comes the money debate. The US spends far more than Europe. America asks allies to contribute more. Europe says security is more than spending.
Despite debates, NATO persists. It creates predictability. Countries fear uncertainty the most. NATO reduces that uncertainty. War becomes a bad investment. But the world has changed. Threats are now more complex. Cyber attacks can paralyze nations. Disinformation can destabilize societies. Terrorism has no uniform. AI and hypersonic weapons change warfare. NATO now works in cyber and space. The battlefield includes data and satellites. Global power is shifting. NATO must redefine its role. Perception matters in geopolitics. Defense to some may look like encirclement. One fact remains. No NATO member has been conquered externally. Western Europe has seen decades of peace. NATO has been part of that equation. NATO works through shared commitment. It chooses cooperation over isolation. It is slow but strategically powerful.
In the end, NATO is about trust. 32 countries standing together. The real question is the future. Will the promise hold in the 21st century? Or will the next crisis test it? And this is where the story becomes less about history. It becomes more about the future. The biggest challenge NATO faces today isn't only military, it is political.
Every member country is a democracy. Governments change and elections happen. Public opinion shifts over time. Priorities change. One year, a country strongly supports NATO. A few years later, voters may question it. Why spend money on distant conflicts? That question appears often. This creates a paradox. NATO promises long-term security. But its members think in short election cycles. Leaders must balance two timelines: global stability and domestic politics. Sometimes those timelines collide and tensions appear. Imagine a long team project. Every few years, half the team changes. New ideas and new disagreements arrive. Yet the project must continue. This is NATO's reality. Another challenge is geography. NATO began as a regional alliance. Today, crises rarely stay in one region. Conflicts in the Middle East affect Europe. Instability in Africa affects migration. Tensions in Asia affect global trade. Security has become global, but NATO is regional. So how global should NATO become? Should it stay focused on Europe and North America? Or cooperate more with partners in Asia?
Modern threats don't respect borders. A cyber attack on one continent can affect another. A Conflict in sea lanes disrupts global economies. Distance no longer guarantees safety. NATO is building partnerships. Cooperation is expanding. Japan, Australia, and South Korea work closely with NATO. They are partners, not members. A global network is forming. Is NATO becoming a global security network or a regional alliance with global friends? No one fully agrees on the answer. Disagreement inside NATO is normal. Consensus means debate and delay. Delay can look like weakness. But there is another perspective. When 32 countries debate before acting, decisions gain legitimacy. Commitments become more credible. Fast decisions win battles. Slow decisions may prevent wars. This is NATO's trade-off. Speed versus unity. Efficiency versus consensus. For decades, NATO chose unity. Its real power is predictability. Predictability discourages aggression. NATO sends a global signal every day. Members will not face threats alone. That signal shapes decisions early. The most important wars never happen. Wars prevented by deterrence.
Peace is hard to measure. You cannot film wars that never began. Peace rarely makes headlines. Yet it may be NATO's biggest success. Still, the future is uncertain. Technology is accelerating fast. New rivalries are emerging. The next decades will test NATO. Can consensus survive a faster world? Can unity survive division? Can trust survive competition? NATO has already lasted long. From World War II ruins to digital battlefields, from tanks to code. NATO keeps adapting. The promise was never about one enemy. It was about a shared idea. Security is stronger together. The story is still being written.